Thanks so much. A day after the Republican president.
14 degrees on MLK Day. It is going to be a frigid day. 2 degrees for the low on Tuesday. High 22, mostly sunny skies. There will be a chance of snow toward Wednesday. Katie?
All right, Brian, thanks so much. A day after the Republican presidential candidates debated in South Carolina, it'll be the Democrats' turn on Sunday, and it really is crunch time for all the candidates before the Iowa caucuses and the New Hampshire primary coming up in just a couple of weeks. So for some perspective of this time of Decision 2016, political science professor Dr. Kevin Sims joining us with that. So the Republicans, they will debate one more time before the Iowa caucuses. And again, like we said, the Democrats will be this weekend. Who really are the Iowa caucuses make or break for?
I really think after last night it comes down to probably those evangelical candidates who are on the lower end of the spectrum. So I think Rick Santorum, Mike Huckabee, probably Ben Carson, they're really going to have to do well in Iowa. It's going to be a challenge for them, but it's probably make or break for them, and maybe a couple of others.
Do you think last night's debate changed any minds for folks in those states?
You know, I think so. History tells us that people in Iowa tend to make up their mind after the very last debate. So we could see minds being changed all the way through the next Republican debate.
Are they an important indicator?
I think that, you know, Katie, I think they are an indicator. How important? History doesn't seem to indicate that there's any long-term effects here. We've had surprise winners. I think we probably will again in Iowa. But, you know, the longer term, when you get into the primary states, you start getting into New Hampshire and down to South Carolina, things will start taking form. And we'll see the cream rise to the top, if you will.
And we were talking about some of the polling right now in Iowa and New Hampshire. Right. Very different. Talk to us about each event.
Look, there's a cultural difference between the two. Iowa is going to be especially the Republicans in Iowa, are going to be decidedly more conservative than those in New Hampshire, which tend to be a little bit more, maybe just slightly right of center. So someone in New Hampshire like Trump, maybe even Rubio, Christie, they're going to poll fairly well. In Iowa, it's going to be the more conservative candidates. And the only reason why I think Trump is doing as well as he is that tends to be where his support is beginning to develop. You know, working class Americans, that populist movement tends to be going in his direction. So he's likely to do well. Whether he wins or not, well, we'll see.
Getting interesting between him and Senator Cruz. In New Hampshire, Governor Kasich has been spending a lot of time in that state ahead of the primary there. And he's polling in second place, tied with some candidates there. Trump, of course, leading still in New Hampshire. But talk about the strategy there.
Listen, I think John Kasich has done exactly the right thing. He's, you know, despite the fact that he's a Midwesterner, he's really, you know, our guy. And, you know, the Midwestern, you know, carrying the banner for the Midwestern states. In the long run, he's really not going to do well in a more conservative situation like Iowa. He's really better tuned to do well in New Hampshire, and I think you will see him continue to spend a lot of time there, and probably to his benefit.
This race just continues to get more and more interesting. Oh, yeah. Appreciate the perspective, political science professor Dr. Kevin Sims. Thanks so much. Mark.
Thank you.
Still to come today here on 5 on 2. More older women are having children, some for the first time. There's a reason and ramifications. Details of a new study coming up.